Hello, Internet viewers. My name is Frank Rauscher. Today I'm going to show you patterns that are available both through me and sources elsewhere to get. I'm going to give you a variety of birds and animals, or some animals anyway, and I'm going to show you a lot of the patterns I do have. This one is for wrens, and I've developed these, and I also made a drawing of the wren and the markings and the top view and the profile view and the tail, top of the tail and the bottom of the tail, so you have an idea on how to do this. I also do this for the spotted sandpiper, and also I have the blue jay as well, and this is the blue bird, and I develop these patterns as I go along, and I've had a class in each one of these birds. And this way I can leave these with the students, and they can pick up the details to where the eye is placed, the tail, the wings, the feathers, and so on. And this is a good starting point. And then from there I'll proceed on, as I will with you, in the lessons on how to develop the bird, how to cut it out. And this here is a kingfisher. The last one I showed you was a wood thrush. I have a flicker, and I also, in a lot of cases, I'll try to also detail the pattern so you can pick up the markings. Not in every case, but in a lot of cases. So I try to do different setups on this, and I've also done a bird in flight, which was a flying eagle, and I give all the top views, the bottom view, as well as the bird in the frontal view. So I try to give you a view for each one. Now, most people have done birds over the years, and I'm going to get you started on otters. But before I do that, let me also make recommendations. I have books that I refer to, and this is Rosalind Daisy puts these books out, and these are excellent books if you're looking for patterns or if you're trying to do birds. One of the best references is the Rosalind Daisy series. She has small birds, the large birds. This is the larger bird. Okay, it's called Songbird Carving 2, and there's a 1. And she also has one on game birds, and trying to think what else, and one on animals too. A lot of her books, in the case of, we'll say a cardinal here, I'm going to show you what she gives you in the book, which is very helpful. She does a male and a female out of this book, and what is really nice is she gives you a photograph from step by step. It's an excellent book as a reference for doing birds. If you're trying to do it similar to what I'm going to teach you here, is give you a step by step. Now, in the cardinal, she has a male and a female. She gives you patterns within it and how it looks, how it should be carved out, the measurements and everything else. She goes from A to Z on this, and as far as she also covers the painting of the birds, and the detailing of it as well. They're excellent reference books as far as doing the bird. But her patterns in here are excellent to follow as well, and I would recommend them highly. There's other books if you're trying to do bald eagle. This is an excellent book also, and it really gives you the anatomy. And at a later date, I will show you how a lot of these I have created. The wings separately, like it's shown in this book, and I've done a span of just one wing about that big, about 18 inches long, and you have one on either side, and then you also have the body, and I'm in the process of trying to finish this. I'll have to show you that at another stage, but right now I'm just trying to give you references to go after. This was another book. It was by Jim Sprankle, and it's waterfowl carvings. If you were into ducks and geese, he gives you a lot of information as well in here, and he has pictures and details of how to do ducks. Also gives you patterns. The patterns are basic shapes, not really detailed ones, but there are other ones out there that will give you details. Another good book is Mary Goulden's, and this is wood carving book 2, but she has one also, and these are excellent because these patterns in here, I'll show you, this is like a bear, and the bear has that profile view. And then she goes into, let me see if I can get you the other page here. She has the front, the back, and you get all the details on how to carve animals. And she does several of them in here. She, if I can refer to this, she does bears, wolves, bison, bobcats, a variety of animals in here with the patterns, and they're excellent referral for doing animals. And like I said, she has a couple books out on that. I have a book. It's not really a book. It's like a pamphlet that I sell as well, and it gives you all the patterns, and some of them I've shown today. The spotted sandpiper, and the list of them is like a house wren, the cardinal, the wood thrush, blue jay, avocet, black-capped chickadee. So I have them available as well if you're interested in the patterns. They're enough to get you started, and you will have if you take the measurements right off the drawing, most of them are to scale. In cases where, you know, we're dealing with a big bird or something like that, I'll try to reduce them down because I'm trying to come up with birds that are sitting on a shelf or animals. As I will show you later, I'm going to show you some of my carvings that I've created along the way. I will show you at least how I accomplish them, but I wanted to get to see the detail that I get involved with when I do create it. So I will take you on a step-by-step arrangement on that, and I'm going to first give you a little teaser on some of the finished things I've done so far. The one item which I seem to put around here, here we are, excuse me one second, be right back. I showed this on my last video, and what I like to do is I'm going to do a bigger version of the mother and baby otter, but I'm basically going to do the mother so you can get the flavor of it. The baby, I have patterns for that too. The legs are just in a different positioning, but they're swimming together. So what we're trying to do is showing them flowing in the water. They're like swimming in the water, and this is sort of like grasses. And this is one of them. And if I get this closer to the screen, you can see some of the detail. We try to make it as realistic looking as we can. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to also show you some birds that I've done, and I will present them to you as well. But these are river otters that I think are a good starter. It's not too difficult. Basically, you get the shape of the face out first, and well, you shape the body first, excuse me, and then we go right for the face. And I do this on almost all the birds, all animals or birds. I like to go for the face because I think if you get that right, everything else sort of falls in line. And so I'm going to proceed by getting more carvings here shortly, and I'm going to show you all of what I've done so far. Not all, but a handful of different pieces. So if you bear with me, I will show you some more. Here are some of the carvings that I've done over the years, and this is a woodcock, and this is a full-size woodcock. Sometimes I do miniatures, which I'll show you as well, but this has a lot of detail to it, and it was an interesting bird. It's a challenging one to carve as far as painting goes, but it's a fun project to do. It's a pretty good sized bird too. And slide this over. I'll try to give these to you as we go. I'm going to give you all the large birds that I've done. I've done a series of smaller birds, which are like half scale and so on, stuff like that. So this is the robin, and I try to get as much detail to get realism into the piece, and hopefully we can achieve that within our instructions. And this will also show you how to paint them. I will anyway. And this is the robin, and then another piece I did is the mother and baby polar bear. We try to get them to look as realistic as we can, and I try to get realism whenever I do a piece. This was I thought a cute setting, and there it is right there. And that's a real nice, interesting piece. It was a lot of fun to do. Another one is a warbler, which is a real nice bird. It's a yellow-rumped warbler, and I put some moss in the bottom to decorate it out, and we get it onto a branch. And that's another one I've done. On the miniature end, we have an owl, and the owl, as you can see, is detailed pretty good, and we had a good time with this one. Again, this was a miniature. I've done most of them full size, but I got into a series here for a while where I just wanted to do miniatures, but what I try to do when I carve is, if you get into a massive piece, you have a problem trying to find a shelf to put them on. So I've done a series of small ones. This is a tufted titmouse, and this, I try to get all the detail I can get in here, the feathers and the painting and everything else, and very interesting bird. And here's another one, a shorebird, and this one was also, it was a nice painting project as well, and the carving end of it wasn't that bad. Again, I make patterns for most of them, and we have them available. Mostly everybody's done a chickadee. Well, I've done it in 10 different ways, 10 different fashions. Again, this is at a smaller scale. This is half scale. And some of them I make chubby, some of them I make thin. Like humans, we're all size-wise vary a little bit. And this is what I've done with these smaller birds. Sometimes I make them in the winter. I had done a cardinal where I really fluffed up the feathers and made it look fuller, which is what they do to keep warm. And so I change the different pieces to get that look. And I'm trying, here's like a blue jay, and the blue jay is been detailed, and you can see the feather layouts and so on that. And like I said, I try to make them as close to real as I can. I do my best job. I mean, there are other people that have a real good hand at painting, and painting sometimes can separate the men from the boys. But on the projects that I do here, I'm going to try to simplify it so that you don't have the difficulty. I'm going to show you how I mix the paints when we go to paint. I'm going to start with an easier project in the beginning, but I just wanted to show you all the different varieties of birds I've done. And this is a indigo bunting, and it's a pretty bird. And there's with birds you can have a field day of choices, and I will show you some of the pitfalls of doing them, and also the simplifying of them too. This one here is a white-throated sparrow. Again, it's a miniature again, but it's a pretty bird, and the details of them and everything else I try to enhance to really get a real nice look on these. And the other one here is a fox sparrow. I think it was a fox sparrow, and this was interesting as well. And again, the miniatures are a little more challenging, but I wouldn't start you out in that in the beginning. As far as birds, I'd do a full-size one, and I will do that at a later date as we go. I'm going to go with what's the name? An otter, just for starters, because I think that may be a project where you can get off the ground without knocking yourself out. This here is a spotted sandpiper, and what I've done is like a sand base, and which tends to set it off, because that's where you usually find them, on the shorelines. And I done this one as well. This is again a nice piece to do. I've done it in different ways. I've also had it where I had it on pebbles and stuff like that, where I actually carved just like half the pebbles and made the base out of that, and that was where the bird looked like it was pecking through. So there's a lot of different ways you can set up your bird to present it well. Most of these are on bases, and sometimes you can come up with a variety of them. As I showed you in my previous video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the mother. Again, this is another scaled down one. I'm not going to do a full-size otter, but I am going to do one that's about twice as big as this one, and I will show you the details of the otter, and I'll show you how you can build this up and make this setting. And also, the baby's similar as the mom, except that the feet are going in different directions, and what mom's doing here is, and I didn't explain myself clearly when I was saying about wires, I put wires into the base of the feet into a rock, and the rock is actually carved, and there's a few of them made out of wood, and then I've added some real stones in there just to get a variety of color in there, and it just makes for a real nice setting. And something like this, or even the little bigger ones that I'm going to get involved with, will present a real nice package as far as that setting. It just presents itself really nice. And I'm going to start with this only because it's challenging to do more of doing the faces. I think faces really accommodate the piece you're doing. I mean, what I mean by that is, I didn't explain myself exactly well. The faces are what sells you, either on the bird, if you don't get it right, or the animal, then you're fighting a lost cause. And sometimes I'll just completely give up, but I haven't done that lately. But with a student or something like that, usually we can resurrect any mistakes, and I'll show you how to correct mistakes too that happen. We have products that are that will replace wood if you take too much out. One of the things, if I didn't make myself clear here, I do power carving, so I am going to show you with tools how to get the shape of the pieces. We'll do it step by step, and I'm going to take you from the block of wood, and in my next video I'm going to start doing the otter. The otter, as I don't know if I showed you this or not, this is the pattern for the mother, and with this is what I do is I start with this. Now, in doing it, the biggest challenge on all patterns is to get the views, and the biggest problem is that getting it correct. So I'll make a lot of sketches, and then a lot of times I'll even carve something to see if it's proper, and then I take the measurements afterwards, and that's where you get the measurements here. I try to give you all the measurements for whatever you need as far as the placement of the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and so on, to get everything proportionally developed in the face, so it's symmetrical about a center line. I'll also show you how to accomplish that as well, and I'll show you what I do with this pattern to get you what they call a cutout or a blank. And the blank, the wood I use predominantly in my classes here are basswood, and I just prefer to use that. It's a good learning wood. It's probably one of the better carving woods that are out there, and it's readily available. Tupelo is another good wood, but it's softer and not always available. I'm not saying in certain parts of the country it's probably more plentiful, but basswood usually been growing all over the place, and a lot of times you can get that fairly easy. I would recommend you not to use pine, because if I go into using pine, when you go to paint sometimes, the tars will leach out and show up on your piece, and you're trying to use a finished piece. We seal the wood and everything else, but pine tends to leach the tars out, and you don't have that problem with basswood because it's a tight grain. It's very nice. It's most of the time it's clear, but yeah, every once in a while you get a spot in it or two. But it really doesn't take away from your carving. So I am going to leave this video for here at this spot, and then when I come on again, I am going to start the otter, and we're going to do this setting. I'll definitely do the mother first, and if we have time we'll do the baby, but it'll be very similar. And I'm going to take you from the beginning to the end, and I hope you will enjoy what's I'm doing, and I hope you get something out of it. And if you have any questions, definitely contact me. If you really like what I'm presenting, I would hope that you would subscribe, and if you have a chance, you can also check my website, and if there's anything you may need as far as patterns, if you're looking for a pattern or a blank or feet or eyes or whatever you may need, I even have bits, and they would be available if you're interested. So you just contact me, and we will try to take care of whatever you need. But in the meantime, I'm basically trying to get you to get started, and this is strictly just an introduction, and some of the things I've shown you here I have done, and I just wanted to sort of wet your whistle to what type of work I do, and I hope you enjoy it. So please subscribe if you get a chance, and I will see you on the next video, and we will start the otter. Thank you.